Hello everyone, this is Bill with Yarn Crafts for Lefties. Today we are going to be learning how to make the Estonian cast-on. It's also known as the Latvian and double start cast-on. I use the cast-on here on the brim of a hat, and you can see that this cast-on gives a very interesting look to the edge, but what I really want you to see, look how elastic this is. It really has great stretch to it, but it comes back beautifully. So it's a great choice for anything that you need to have a stretchy edge on. So I'm just going to set that aside. And you can use this cast on regardless of any type of needle that you want. I'm going to use a double pointed needle just so it's smaller in terms of me moving around. We're going to need to consider this like we would a long tail cast on because the tail is going to be incorporated into our work when we're casting on the stitches. So I'm going to just leave myself a generous tail so we can work without having to think about things. I'm going to start out with a slip knot. I'm going to put the tail over my thumb and the working yarn over my index finger, and I'm going to get into our starting position, which is the slingshot position. There are going to be two positions in this cast on. Slingshot position and reverse slingshot position. And I'm sure you're asking, what's the difference? I don't get it. When we do slingshot position, the nature of it wrapping around my thumb is going to bring these to cross in front. Reverse slingshot position, which really has our thumb, instead of coming from the inside, going under and to the in. So what that does is it lets us get at this inner string without this outer one getting in our way. So we are going to have to be mindful of the two positions because we will be switching back and forth between them when we do our stitches. Now, I like to start this cast on with second position because I want to get everything to work in groups of two. When you cast this on, you'll see that they will naturally start falling into groups of two. Since I'm starting with a slip knot, I'm considering this as if I had just done a long tail cast on stitch. So now I'm going to go from a long tail cast on position, drop my thumb out, come under the yarn, and set up in the reverse position. Now I can bring my tip of my needle under the yarn that is going to or around my thumb, draw it up. Now this part, just like a long tail cast on, just like wrapping a knit stitch, we're going to wrap from front to back. Now this is just like a long tail cast on. We're bringing the tip through the loop on our thumb and drawing off. Now when we finish that, our hand automatically is in position to do a long tail cast on. This will be position A. When you're in position A, which is your long tail cast on position, you will make your long tail cast on. I'll show you that step again. If you're not familiar with casting on for a long tail cast on, we are going to go under the outside of the loop, wrap around like we're making a knit stitch, bring it through the loop, and then draw off. Now, since we've done part A, we need to now set up and move into the second position for part B. I take my thumb, I bring it around and under the yarn from my thumb. Notice the index finger yarn is not changing at all. So now I can easily get at the strand that's in towards the palm of my hand, wrap around as if we were doing a knit stitch, draw through the loop on my thumb, go ahead and draw this in, and you'll see that that outer one kind of covers these two stitches nicely, gives them a nice little grouping, and they're already separating into groups of 2. Now I'm going to go ahead, get in position to do a long tail cast on. My thumb, I have the loop going from here right around, and because I'm holding, it's essentially making a crisscross. So I'm going to go under the outside of that loop, wrap around to knit, bring it through, and draw down. Now I need to change position, so I take my thumb out, I come from front and under. Now I have this thread unencumbered. I can pick it up, and when I pick it up, I come from under it and up, wrap around as if to make a knit stitch, draw through, tighten. And don't pull these so tight that they almost look like a knot. This is part of what's going to give this stitch its give. So now I'm back in position to do a long tail cast on. So part A is done. Switch my thumb around. Part B is done. Part A, part B. And you see that doing this, once you get going and you're comfortable with the pattern, moves very quickly. The stitches are grouping into sets of 2 quite nicely, and it's that extra yarn that's happening here and here that is going to give you the ability to have that stretch factor that you want, that not only will stretch but comes back. So I hope you found this lesson on the Estonian or double start cast on helpful. This is Bill with Yarn Crafts for Lefties. Happy knitting!